First of all, Smith County as a whole, the Sheriff Department had 287 in place that I felt that was adequate enough to meet the needs. And by further extending that into particular areas, especially in precincts where you're going to have a predominance of Spanish-speaking Americans, there's always the probability and the possibilities of how this could go.
Constable Joplin raised concern that hey, this is no targeting. He's not going to target any individuals at all. Other commissioners, had their outcry, but you felt like that, a constable was not needed in that precinct, correct?
Well, I felt like the Sheriff Department, that's going to have over 120 people trained to do those jobs, would be more than adequate enough, because when you listen in depth to who is in that area, and we say we're not targeting, but the primary objective is when you look at it and you look at who are the residents of that area.
There was a lot of people speaking yesterday. I mean, we watched it here, and there's a lot of concerns. What do you have to tell your constituents out there?
Well, one of the things that I think we need to understand that we have a community, that particular community portion of town is predominantly Hispanic, but also I think we have to understand we have law-abiding citizens, we have family people that have the same concerns. There are concerns about illegal drugs. They are concerned about any crime that might affect them as well as others. But sometimes to be singled out as being the only perpetrators of those crimes, sometimes for me, that right there alone is targeting.
It seemed like you had a lot to say yesterday, but what you said was paramount. When you heard the other commissioners vote forward and you vote against it, how did you feel about that?
Well, the other commissioner vote, every commissioner, that's their vote. And my stance was totally different, because what I believe was we had something in place that was adequate enough to address it based on the relationship that the Sheriff Department had with the leaders of that community. What I don't want to see is this situation escalated to the point where, for any frivolous reason at all, you can start dealing with people differently from what the intent is.
If a layman's person wants to understand what 287G is all about in very short terms, what is it about? People like 287G, what is that to the Commissioner's Court of the Sheriff's Office?
287Z, real briefly, is something in place to be able to identify people, whether they're here legally or whether they're here illegally. And when I talk about that, what I mean is we're talking about paperwork, whether it's a work visa, whether it's a green card, or whatever it might be. There are different aspects of what that might be. And the 287 really is to identify and verify.
The motions was there yesterday in Commissioner's Court. You saw the outside protesters. Commissioner's Court felt it. It was a long day yesterday.
Long day.
It was exhausting. Those people out there, some got the chance to speak and everything. They want answers. What kind of answers do you think you could give them as that commissioner in Precinct 1?
Well, this is a great burden. But because the burden is we're dealing with human beings. We're dealing with people that this affects their livelihood, it affects their families as a whole. And I think we have to have reasonable solutions to deal with that. You cannot just label people and say that all crime comes from this. That's where the challenges are. And there's a whole lot needs to be done with immigration reform. A whole lot needs to be done. But at the same time, we still need to realize that we are dealing with human beings.
Has any of your individuals came to you to say thank you, or some people say, we didn't like the way you voted? Has anybody came to you and talked to you about that?
Well, the surprising thing about it is some of the people in this community that you would consider to be influential people today addressed me or have reached out to me and just appreciate the fact that I stood for what I stood for. And I think that's what every commissioner has done. But the population that I represent, I think that would be the expectation of me from them is to represent their interests.
How kind of a redundant question here. The ultimate goal for Commissioner Caraway, what is the ultimate goal you want out of this, I guess, sensitive issue?
Well, you know, when you serve people, serve all humanity, not some of humanity, but serve all of humanity. And when we look at this county as a whole, we have to look at what are concerns of not some of the people, but the concerns of all of the people.
Got one more question. Have you seen something like this before since you've been in Smith County, Tyler, Texas?
No. No.
Explain.
Well, I think Smith County, Tyler, Texas, is trying to build a reputation of being a place where everybody is welcome and everybody is worthy. And everybody counts to make Tyler Smith County what it is.
That's it, sir. Thank you so much. For taking
All right, man.